Yeah, I think go ahead, Mohammed.
Acha. Welcome to our channel. Today's show is about the unrest in West Bengal over Waqf issues. Where it's going to lead, because the situation is getting bad, and BJP and Congress is blaming Mamata Banerjee for everything, and they're saying that she's responsible for causing this unrest, even though Mamata Banerjee said this again and again, that the Waqf Board amendment will not be implemented in West Bengal, and nobody should play politics in this volatile situation, because in a lot of places that the unrest is happening, Hindus are generally minorities, and whenever the majority is doing stuff like this, minorities are usually collateral damage. So Mamata Banerjee is trying her best to control the situation, but it's getting out of control, as we can see. Shaji, what do you think? Where is this going to lead, and what is this connection with the Muslims? How is it going to affect Muslims?
I think we saw in the video, I think it would be nice to mention the video, that's why it was there. For everyone who saw these other scenes which you saw in West of Bengal, it is mentioning basically what you've seen is an outrage, and especially what we've seen in Bangladesh in recent times. So I don't know. We've got two people from Indian background within India, I'm assuming, Andolanji as well as Aditya. So first we'll go to Mr. Andolan, and please go ahead, Andolanji, and also explain the display picture you have.
So, Shahid, maybe if Aditya can give a precursor, I'll just give you a couple of data points into this. This particular riots are happening in predominantly Murshidabad and a couple of other districts which are, closer to Bangladesh, near the Bangladesh border in West Bengal. No other part of India has reported any such incident other than in these 2-3 districts, which are adjoining districts next to Bangladesh. And predominantly Muslim-majority areas. And these have become Muslim-majority areas over a period of time because of Bangladeshi infiltration. The co-host mentioned that Mamata is trying to do everything possible to, reduce the violence, but there are no effective measures which have been taken so far. No police action has been taken like the one which was taken in Nagpur, which effectively curtailed the rioting in a very short span of time. This is not the case up here in West Bengal. So with this, I would hand it over to you and Aditya, and then I'll come in later.
So, thank you for your input, Andolanji. And if we discuss about West Bengal, we have to go into the history of incidents of violence in West Bengal, because it's not new. So the way India began its journey of independent country, West Bengal was always dominated by the left and the communists. So the way the people who understand how the communist politics works is that they try to recruit a lot of people in that ideology. So since the very beginning, since the independence, there were a lot of people on the ground level, on the booth level, who were connected to the left politics. And the Communist Party of CPIM, they empowered these people. They I can't be I can not say it shortly, but it was always accused that these people were also armed by the communist party. They were the bullies there. They were funded by the communist state government. They had these small headquarters. They had a big headquarter. They had like publishing centers. They had head offices. So it was a very organized kind of uh, you can say mob, which was very organized, which is contradictory in a way to call a mob organized, but a group which was very organized, and they were very strong on the ground. So since the very beginning, since the independence of India and creation of the modern state of West Bengal, uh, these fraction has always functioned in West Bengal. It's nothing new. So when in the 1980s and 90s, when Mamta Banerjee started gaining ground and started gaining political power, she somehow convinced these people and empowered these people. When she became powerful and she won elections and she became the chief minister of West Bengal, she, instead of let's say removing these people from these positions and these uh, places of power, she thought that she could use these people for her own benefit. And I can't defend her, when even Congress accuses them of using the street power in a way for her own goods. It's not wrong. It's very true, freedom of speech is very limited in West Bengal. There might be very many people who say that Bengalis are very educated and all that thing, which is also true. The these gangs and these people organized working in West Bengal is also true. So I wouldn't disagree with the Andolanji's point regarding the goons and the goon culture in West
Okay,
Bengal.
okay. So my question is, okay, that's the back end of what's happening in West Bengal, but obviously this has something to do with the Waqf board and whatnot, and so wouldn't you say that they have to be there, and a certain number of Muslims have to be there in regards to that for that trigger fault to even be activated, even if it is the communists who are staging that. But if a number of numerous Muslim population with a certain amount of sentiment were not prevalent, you would not see these streets. We've got a second video. I'm just going to play that. And it seems like there are thousands of people out there.
No, it's not the communist who's staging it. They have already
Mm.
been a long time. They are out of power and they don't hold any street power on the state. It's these people are mostly organized and working under the current government, which is Mamta Banerjee's government, and the main opposition party in Bengal now is the BJP. So there is a ground level clash. There's no denying between the people who want to provoke these people, which is in a way the supporters of the BJP. They might be provoking it. I'm not sure about it, but there could be cases where these people are provoking them, and they are without any hesitation. The people who are probably Muslims or these goons or whoever are also taking that bait. It doesn't look nice on the on the national television or on these videos. So I don't know where it would go, but they are surely showing that street power. And I'm not even saying that Muslims are not part of the problem, but Muslims are everywhere in India, and there is a reason why it's so prevalent in West Bengal. That was my point. If you can if you want to continue.
Andolanji, what's your opinion on that?
Aditya is probably speaking without actually, speaking. So he mostly said it. So it's not against Waqf, to be very honest, because this part of the country has seen violence, sees violence every year, with some pretext or the other. So whether it is a Durga Puja Jalus, there would be violence. If there is Ram Navami Jalus, there will be violence. If there's nothing, there will be violence. it is nothing but showcase of Muslim majority dominance in this area. Predominantly coming in from, because a lot of these people are Bangladeshis Muslim who have settled over a period of time and changed the demographic profile. Similar things was happening in Assam as well till about 10 years back, where a lot of Bangladeshis have come in and settled in Assam. In a lot of districts in Assam, there are districts which have Murshidabad kind of set up 50%, 55% Muslim population. We used to see violence there every year. But since the BJP government has come in Assam, that violence has almost stopped in Assam. It's nearly negligible violence in Assam. So now the only violent, if you call where we see repeated violence is West Bengal. And predominantly, in every part of West Bengal, we see violence. Whether it is elections, whether it is anything to do with the Hindu identity, whether it has to do anything with any central bill, there would be violence. It is nothing but demonstration of street power. That's it. Waqf or Ram Navami Jalus, these are just incidental.
Can I also add one point to this?
Can I just add one point?
Yeah,
But there are, it is reported by Times of India, there are protests in Mumbai, Calcutta, Lucknow, and Jaipur, and Hyderabad, and all these places.
Of course,
Not
those
as
places have protests. Those places have protests. India is a democracy. You can protest. In Lucknow, for that matter, people did protest. They came in, not large numbers, but reasonable numbers. They booked up a place for protest. They did their protest and went back. There was no violence in any other part of the country. In a democracy, you're allowed to protest.
I'm going to share another video. Would you classify this as a protest or a riot? So that was it.
This seems more like a protest rather than a riot.
Okay, so the first video which we saw, would you classify that as a riot or a protest?
Can you, the first video was only, we could see a couple of seconds and then it was probably, went into something else. So I would not comment on the first video. This didn't look like riot. This looked like protest.
Interesting, but it seems to be like they've burnt buses, they've burnt the streets, they've burnt everything which came.
Maybe it was peaceful until this time, and it further escalated into more heated, or you can say more violent after this scene. Because in this scene, it's clearly visible people are probably shouting a bit, but not very violent. People are not running around, they are not trying to burn things. Maybe eventually this protest also turned violent, but yeah, I think Andolanji would think the same, I guess. But I've seen those videos and pictures of burnt buses and all those things. Again, if you're burning the buses, it's a riot. It's not just a protest, and it's not peaceful.
So another thing which Andolanji mentioned, that it's Bangladeshi causing it. If so, are you suggesting that it's the Bangladeshi people causing these protests or these riots in West Bengal every year?
There is a specific trend we have seen in the past. That wherever we have seen riots, there is a lot of those people who are rioting, whether it is Delhi, whether it is in the Delhi riots a couple of years back in West Bengal, more often than not, one out of three people is somebody who has either a Bangladeshi background or comes from outside India. There's either an illegal immigrant or a legal immigrant also with all the documents, but this kind of trend is quite visible across the country.
Can I also add another
huge
point?
Population of West Bengalis, of the Bangladeshis, not West Bengalis, sorry.
I also wanted to add another point. So
And
it's
they
a
do not have
fact.
the skin in the game. So we haven't.
Yeah, continue. Complete your point, Anand.
So the reason I was telling it, because these people do not have a skin in the game as far as country is concerned. So they happen to be more, used as a tool, and they're pretty much active in terms of violence.
So I wanted to add another point, Shah. Pakistan have a Afghani problem. You have like millions of Afghani refugees since the 2002 and all the wars that happened in Afghanistan. And there's no denying India has millions of Bangladeshi Muslims who are currently living in India. And I agree to that number. Like there are millions and millions of Bangladeshis who are living in India. I don't agree to the hundreds of millions of people kind of number, which some some right wing fractions also bring out. So I don't believe the numbers in hundreds of millions, but for sure there are multiple millions of people, Bangladeshis who are living in India, and India's nationality is a little different, works a little different than how it is for America. So in America, if you're born on the American soil, you are naturally a American citizen. It doesn't matter if you're legal, your parents are illegal or not. In India it doesn't work like that. In India it's hereditary, your parents have to be Indian, or one of your parent have to be Indian for you to obtain a Indian citizenship or apply for it. Or you can go through the legal route where you apply for Indian citizenship. It takes 14, 15, 18 years, whatever. You should have a proper reason to stay here, and you have to be a legal migrant to apply for that. So but these are like second or third generation Bangladeshis actually who are living here, and who are according to the Indian constitution who are illegal till date. So the idea that they don't have the skin in the game is also true. What worst could happen? They might be deported back to Bangladesh is the worst that could happen. And I think a lot of those people already believe that sooner or later we will be deported. So I don't know how it's working out for them.
So, what percentage of these people do you think are Bangladeshis and not like Indian Bengalis?
No idea. No, zero idea. But surely there are some of them are
So,
Bangladesh.
to give you a perspective, Shajay, when we talk about districts like Murshidabad and all, which are the West Bengal district adjoining Bangladesh, I believe majority of the Muslim population there are the ones who are Bangladeshis. Because at the time of partition, everybody other than the landowning and the किश्तकार जो किसान होते हैं, all those Muslims moved to Bangladesh during at the time of partition. But then, after during the 1971 war, close to 2 crore, 20 million people moved from Bangladesh to India. This is recorded in Indira Gandhi's interview to BBC. And half of them were Hindus and Baudh, Chakmas, and half of these people were Muslims. Right? And so that happened in 72. Most of these people didn't went back, 2 crore odd at that particular point of time in 1972. And then the continuous infiltration, because India was a higher income category compared to Bangladesh. There were more job opportunities, so on and so forth. So, and the borders were porous. So, from 1972 all the way up till now, even today, close to anywhere between 500 to 1,000 people cross the border every day. Majority of them being Muslims. Because the bordering areas are all Muslim areas in Bangladesh.
Okay, that's interesting. So would you see a comparison? Would you draw a comparison with the Punjab region, or the Balochistan region of Pakistan, or even for that matter the KPK region? All these happen to be bordering areas, and it seems like a similar thing is occurring in India as well. What's occurring in Pakistan, what's occurring in Iran, what's occurring in
So this
all.
will happen. This will happen in any part of the world, Shaji. So if you take Mexican-US border, whether you take Turkey and European borders, so on and so forth, this happens everywhere. The problem is one of the bordering state and earlier two, which was Assam and so you know Bangladesh only has land boundaries with India, barring maybe few hundred kilometers with Myanmar, and that infiltration continues across the board from all all the sides. Now, over a period of time, with the changes of in the northeast, they had a very strong tribal sense. So they always had a repercussions, moving into the northern, from the eastern part of Bangladesh. So the infiltration primarily happened to Assam side and the West Bengal side. Assam side infiltration has largely stopped because of effective fencing over the last 10 years and the BJP government in place, not allowing a lot of infiltration happening from the Assam side. West Bengal infiltration has been a political issue because even earlier left governments, as well as the current regime in West Bengal, promotes cross-border migration. Because this is a captive vote bank earlier of left and now of Mamata Banerjee.
So I think we got a Bangladeshi person of Bangladeshi origin here as well, Noor. And Noor, according to Andolanji, I'm sure you've basically seen what's happening in west of Bengal, and we've recently seen what's happening in Bangladesh as well. He's basically saying every year when rioting happens, and these riots as well, which are associated to west of Bengal and the Waqf thing in particular, are because of Bangladeshi infiltration into India, and it's the Bangladeshi infiltrators or illegal immigrants who are basically carrying this out. What's your opinion on that?
This is like this is what you call inferiority complex, because Indians never blame their own people in anything. They could literally do anything, and you'll never see an Indian blame another Indian that they can do something like this, because for them, they need somebody to blame, and unfortunately, we are surrounded by these people. Therefore, we are going to take the blame, and they are going to blame us. And Andolan says something about infiltration. Now, historically, this land was ours, so how did we infiltrate it? I want to know, actually, Andolan G, how do you decipher the difference between a Bangladeshi and West Bengali? Like, how do you see the difference? Can you recognize the difference?
Andolanji, are you going to respond?
Just give me a couple of minutes, maybe if she can complete her points, and I'll take a couple of minutes to come back.
No, I'm finished. I just want to know.
Just asked you a question.
Yeah, I'm finished.
So, so when we talk about West Bengal and Assam, over a period of time, the demographic shifts which have happened is predominantly due to Bangladesh infiltration. There are a host of reports, data, white papers available. Just Google it, demographic changes in Assam and West Bengal, and you'll get the answer to it. Majority of the,
what I'm asking you, actually, if you understand, is how do you see the difference? How do you understand that these people are Indians and some people are other, aka Bangladeshis, they're not obviously Indian, right? So how do you, as somebody who is not from that region, how do you find the difference? How can you tell the difference that somebody is a Bangladeshi or not?
No, by looking at it, you cannot tell. Yeah. So if your question is finished, I can answer it.
Yeah, okay.
By looking at it, you cannot. But let's say if there is Delhi riots and there are 500 people caught who are rioting, and if 200 out of them are coming from, a suspect Bangladeshi background, right? Or, if the riot is happening in Nagpur and 30 people are caught and 10 are coming in from a Bangladeshi background, if in West Bengal or Assam there is a riot and out of 500 people apprehended by police, 300 are coming in from Bangladesh. So you can make a very logical assumption.
That's my question to you, though. You said somebody from a Bangladeshi background. How can you decipher that? How do you know this person is not?
The police have come to that conclusion. It's not me. I'm not going and scrutinizing these 500 people.
No, but
the police have come to that conclusion.
If you listen carefully, what I'm saying is, how do you tell the difference between a Bangladeshi origin and somebody who's from West Bengal? Like, they are the same ethnic community, right? Or not?
Yeah. They have an Indian would have an Indian document, not a forged Aadhaar card. So once these people are caught, their background is checked, their father, grandfather are identified, and they don't happen to be from India, but happen to be from outside India, and they speak Bangla, it obviously is Bangladesh.
So you agree then that the Hindus that came into India from Bangladesh are not Indians, right?
They are now, because as per CAA, every non-Muslim who has entered India before 2014, and specifically from Pakistan, Bangladesh, or Afghanistan, would be granted Indian citizenship, because if they go back because of being minority, there is a threat to their life in this
No,
country
but
of
okay,
Pakistan.
listen.
That's the
And
law in
Dolan,
India.
Sorry, I'm trying to
actually,
make
he does have
you understand something.
Noor, I think we should ask that question. So far, have any of these protesters been identified? I don't think any of these people have been named by the authorities to be Bangladeshis. All we see are faces and people burning stuff
Shah,
down.
but
The problem,
problem
Shah, is
is,
that these people say, okay, let's say there is Bangladeshis. Okay, I accept. However, there's some racism happening here because there are in India many people migrated as refugees or wherever they transferred from East Bengal to West Bengal, and they are East Bengali by origin, so they're called Bengals, right? Is that correct, Andolan? Do you know this?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Did you know that the Hindus, Bengalis that's living in West Bengal, they're called Bengals or Gotis? Do you know the difference?
They're called Bengalis, yes.
No. Do you know what they are called?
there's a racism amongst them also. Like the
So
West
they are
Bengalis,
obviously. That
the
is true.
especially
There's
the
a specific term. Yeah.
the people from Kolkata, they consider the Bangladeshi accent as inferior people, some kind of like, we are the more
So
upper
there are
caste or
multiple
something like that.
classifications. So you have Biharis also staying in West Bengal. They are, being called out as somebody else. So on. So those are regional dynamics. But the moot point is, in most of the, as per police records, most of the people who have been caught, not most, but quite a lot of people who have been caught in these riots happen to have a Bangladeshi link.
But there doesn't seem to be any authorities confirming that so far.
No, they will
Okay,
make sure that these people are Bangladeshi origin because they have to blame somebody, right? And for India, the best bet for them is to blame Bangladeshis, whatever it is. In Assam, for example, Assam and West Bengal have nothing in common. They have cultures different, languages different, ethnicity, ideology,
you
beliefs,
find
everything.
if you find 30% or 40% of Assam Muslims, of 60% of Assam Muslims, Bengali speaking, where they come from, right?
No, because this is you. So I think you should study a bit of your history, right? Because Assam was a separated land, and Sylhet, there's a region in that area, part of Meghalaya as well. There was called Sylhet, and these people are ethnically Bengali, but they are originally from that land. And when there was a partition in 1947, half of them went to Bangladesh or East Pakistan, and then some of them remained inside India. Now, you're saying these people are Bengalis. Yes, they are, because they are from that region. They have nowhere else to go. Now, it's the same as saying Kashmiris, right? Kashmir Pandits are from Kashmir.
What is the
However,
point
they
that
live.
you're trying to make? I can't make out the point. What is the point? Are there no Bangladeshis, illegal
No,
migrants in India?
my point is they're not Bangladeshi. My point is they're Bengali Indians from India, Indian ethnicity, Indian background, Indian everything. Just ethnically, they are similar to us because it's one region.
Okay.
Historically, there was no division there. So it's a line, a partition that was created by the British Empire, and there's people on both sides.
Yeah,
So
but
you're
the
blaming
partition
us
is a
for something.
reality, right? No.
Of course, yes, I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, when
So
the
why are you
partition
blaming this
happened,
on Bangladeshi? That's my question to you. Why do you blame
I
everything
told
on
you,
Bangladeshis?
I precisely told you the reason, because the police records, whether it is Delhi riots, most of the other riots, we have seen the active ground level worker has been the one who has have Bangladeshi background. That's the point
No,
I'm
this
making.
is my point. They are not Bangladeshi. They're Indian
Okay, fair enough. We
Bengali
agree to disagree.
Indians.
We agree to disagree. Fair
It's
enough.
not agree to disagree because there's a smear campaign here
So
that
what would you do? You
you're
would force your
blaming
viewpoint
somebody
on
for
me?
something that they never did.
I would.
That's my
That's
point.
my viewpoint.
This is called
Andolan,
vilifying, and you're also
so are you
dehumanizing
basically
people because
saying that these
you're
riots are
looking for a
caused by
person to blame
Bangladesh
and
as
you're
a
blaming
state?
people from the weaker country.
No, not Bangladesh as a state. Definitely not. But there is a disposable, population.
So that leaves us with a very interesting question. If not the Bangladeshi state, then even if we were to buy that argument which you're presenting, then the question would be very interesting. Who's organizing them? How are a group of people who happen to be from Bangladesh, apparently, are so coordinated? And do they have a political party? Do they congregate somewhere? How do they plan this? It must be
So
very
which
hard,
is
right? There must be a minority in
so as I indicated, Shaji. So in West Bengal specifically, from the last, not from now, from last 40-50 years, illegal immigration has been promoted, specifically from the Muslim community.
No,
So
that's illegal immigration.
just hear me out.
That's
Just hear
fine,
me.
Andolanji.
Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Sorry. So there is this community also called Furfura, which has a very strong presence in both west side of Bengal. That is in Bangladesh as well as in West Bengal. And the left government as well as the current Mamta government uh, somehow become more flexible in providing them Aadhaar card, voting card, so on and so forth. So they become political, patrons of these parties, and these parties in turn use them to, for any, these extracurricular activities.
So do they go to immigrants and they tell them like
Yes.
asylum
Because
seekers
they
or
don't have any skin in the game. So in case even they are caught, they would run out on the other side of the border and save themselves. So that's the basic idea.
and you're basically suggesting that it's them who are doing the riots and the authorities haven't so far
They
come
are the
out.
tools. They are the tools in most of the rights.
And so it's got nothing to do with Waqf, it's got nothing to do with Mamata Banerjee and her government, it's got nothing to do with the
So no, it
federal.
has got everything to do with Mamata Banerjee and its government.
What does it have to do with Mamata
In
Banerjee?
a state, in the entire country, there are close to 20 crore Muslims, right? West Bengal has maybe 1.5 crore Muslims. So why is only West Bengal Muslims so angry about Waqf board that they are burning properties and doing X and Y? Why it isn't happening in UP? Why it isn't is happening in MP? Why it isn't happening in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka? Is because the state government is giving patronage, and for one political point scoring, they are exciting the masses and trying to create a ruckus. That's about it.
Well, can I make a point
Andolanji,
here?
I've heard this. Noor, give me a second. Andolanji, I've heard this argument before. Like I was getting deja vu. Yes, whenever something happens in Pakistan, the Pakistani nationalists always say, "Oh, these are the illegal Afghans. They're doing everything. It's not our fault." It's always like this. I think it's a very desi problem.
No. So there are two very clear distinctions. I'm not saying that the Bangladeshis are, as a state or some Bangladeshi operative is doing it in India. No. Okay.
Nobody blames the
done by-
Afghan state. They say that the illegal Afghans.
Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Right? So I'm in India. Majority of these dangas are planned by Muslims. No second thought on that. In West Bengal also, there are a group of Muslims who have planned this, but it gets executed through the disposable Bangladeshi Muslims. The
Sorry,
feet on the street.
this is
The
literally
feet
like
on the
he's
street.
blaming one
Hold on,
person, one community.
hold on. Let me finish my point. So I'm making this very clear. Bangladeshi Muslims are not planning it. Bangladeshi Muslims are not the one behind it. They are just tools. They are disposable, and hence, they have also a lot of political patronage or this thing. So let's say a TMC party leader, he wants to create a ruckus in in a particular constituency. Who does he goes to? He goes to Bangladeshi Muslims because they are under his obligation. So they would go and create ruckus. Get paid for it if required, and if there is a law and order problem, they'll run across the
This
border.
is so sad, Andolan. You should, you're literally telling us, you're telling me I'm not Indian, Shahji Muhammad, they're not Indians. You're telling us that Indians themselves, like the Indian citizens, are cowards. That they can't even stand up for themselves, for their own
I was
rights, for
about
their
to
own
point
beliefs.
that out.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
can't stand up for
cowards. They are
anything they
intelligent.
believe.
They are
Funny.
using Bangladeshis
It's
as a
funny.
tool.
Yeah, everyone's a tool, but Indians are not the tools, right? Indians are
If,
the
if there
victims
is
in
if there is
everything.
a disposable population
Yes,
available,
everyone is
people are
disposable for
using it.
Indians.
That's the
Yes,
point I'm making.
correct.
Yeah. The guy is politically
You know
obligated
what?
to,
Uttar Pradesh,
the
something
guys are
happened in Uttar
politically.
Pradesh. Sorry,
So
Nolan,
no, I
I'm just
mean,
going to make a
you
point.
can
You
choose
said
to not
something.
believe it. I am just
I'm not.
giving you a
I
fact.
am believing, but I'll make a point here, very quick one. You said how the Bangladeshis or the Muslims are kind of like taking control of West Bengal and TMC, blah blah blah. Okay, fair enough. And then you compared this to Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh and whatever the state you mentioned. However, in Uttar Pradesh, there was what do you call these Indian Hindus who were on on the dargahs and on the mosque. They were standing there throwing waving their flags and all that stuff. They can do that there, but the Muslims in those regions and those provinces and states, sorry, they can't do that because they would get unalived, they get lynched, the next level, whatever might happen to them because they're not safe there because they are treated as second class people. That's the fact.
Precisely the point. I agree with you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not
Thank
denying
you.
it. Did I deny it?
Yeah, exactly. So you want Muslims in West
Did I
Bengal to be
deny it?
as second class. No,
It
sorry.
is pretty
You
clear.
want the Muslims in Bangladesh and Bangladeshi Muslims, sorry. Well, ignore them. The Muslims in West Bengal, you want them to be second class people, and that's never going to happen.
So Noor, I don't understand your point. You're saying you're making an accusation that Indian Muslims are second class citizen or third class citizen or seventh class citizen. That could be your perspective. My perspective is very clear. There is only one volatile population in India, which is the Muslims. They plan, execute, and initiate riots. When there is proper government who checks these initiation, there are no rights. And then there are governments who promote such elements. In those governments, there is right. So the
So
people
according to
causing
you,
the right or initiating the right are Muslims. The
so
executor is the Bangladeshi Muslim because he has no skin in the game. He doesn't has a house over here. He doesn't has land over here. He is disposable for Indian Muslims. So Indian Muslims will
Adolani,
plan.
let me get
They
it
just
straight.
yeah.
According to you, the Indian Muslims basically request the Bangladeshi Muslims to cause riots in India. In
Yeah,
So
like
that
how,
is what
every
it
so
day.
how
is.
does it work? So
Is
how
that
does it
what
work?
you're saying?
So yeah, so this is exactly what happens in US also when there is rioting. So there
No,
are
no.
groups of
So
so
how
just hear me out.
exactly do
Just
the
hear me out.
Indian
Just hear me out.
Muslims,
Just hear me
how
out.
are they
Just hear me
requesting
out.
their money?
Yeah. So I'm telling you how does it work. So what happens? So let's take in case in point Murshidabad.
Okay.
At the time of partition, except for the Kisan population, the Muslim Kisan who owned land in the Indian side of the border, rest everybody moved out of West Bengal into Bangladesh. That was a
Okay,
Islamic country.
Ananji,
Just hear me out. Just hear
but
me out. Just hear me out. You ask me a question, allow me to explain and answer it, right?
okay, go ahead, explain.
Right.
I'm mute.
So now these people went to Bangladesh. And after the failed experiment till 71, 72, a lot of people moved out. Now, when these Muslims landowners need workers, they get, instead of getting the Hindu Bihari worker, they would prefer a Bangladeshi Muslim worker,
Wait,
right?
why? Tell us why.
Just hear me out. I'm telling you, these are all demographic data available, right? And they would invite them in. They are lower cost. Okay. Second, they are a Muslim to Muslim connection, right? So they invite, and these people over a period of time, earlier they used to come seasonally. So they would come during crop season, go back to their homes in Bangladesh, during the other seasons when there is no work. So this used to happen continuously. Over a period of time, a large number of these populations settled in these border areas, right? And they got patronage from Indian Muslims. So Indian Muslims wanted to have, because of being lesser in number, wanted to have political, strength on the street. And that's how, since these are all workers with them, these are paid by them, the Aadhaar card and the voter ID card is being made by them. Now, political party, apart from, Indian Muslims who are landowners who give them this, who need these people as workers, the political party also need them for voting, etc. So these people who, 1 week here in Bangladesh, 1 week here in West Bengal, right? They are used they are given money because the Indian Muslim would not involve himself into active on the street activity, because he knows if he's caught on camera, he would be behind bars. He has land over here that may be bulldozed. These are disposable
It
guys.
seems you've like actually studied this very, very deeply, but that leaves us with a huge problem, because just a few months back, when Bangladesh, there were riots, a kind of a revolution. It was said by you and very many Indians, as well as the Indian authorities, that this has to be done by the ISI, because Bangladeshis or Bengali people are not capable of carrying out anything. But now you're telling me when Indian Muslims are seeking Bangladeshi illegal immigrants' help to cause riots within India.
So I would
both
have never
the
made that
scenarios
point.
can't be true.
So so there are two parts to it. One is Muslims being a volatile or more aggressive community when it comes to right. Bangladeshi Muslims are no exception, right?
Okay.
I've maintained this viewpoint across the board, whether
Well,
it
that's
is
a compliment. Thank you.
whether it is Bangladeshi Muslims. I'm just giving you my point, which I've repeatedly spoken in your also. Having so, there was a regime earlier, which was this lady, forgetting it, the immediate earlier Prime Minister, kya naam hai? Sheikh
Hasina.
Hasina, yes. So Sheikh Hasina's regime was more reasonable, from an Indian perspective. So, we found that during Sheikh Hasina's regime, Bangladesh also grew economically. उसका फायदा हम लोगों को ये मिला कि जितने लोग वो नदी क्रॉस करके आते थे, अब वो नहीं कम आते थे, आते भी थे, लेकिन अब कम आते थे क्योंकि वहां पे एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज जनरेट होने लगी थी और हमारे यहाँ प्रॉब्लम्स थोड़ी कम हो रही थी. तो शेख हसीना का रिजीम अगर और प्रोग्रेस करता तो हमारे यहाँ ये इन्फिल्ट्रेशन वाली प्रॉब्लम्स और कम हो जाती. स्टेट टू स्टेट लेवल वी वर ओके विद द गवर्नमेंट, नॉट विद द.
So आप ये कह रहे हैं, what you're basically saying, Bangladeshi government is not helping them, but Indian Muslims basically requested the illegal immigrants from Bangladesh, brothers, help us cause riots, save Waqf.
They are disposable individuals.
What do you mean by
Try to
disposable?
understand. Disposable individuals. They are involved. So hold on. If they have no skin in the game, they are into a country. It's exactly like immigrants into US who are illegal, right? They have no skin in the game. They are highest in crime rates.
But Andolanji,
Same thing in India also.
That's
the Indian. So एक शाहजी आप इस चीज को समझो, जो इंडियन मुस्लिम है जिसकी यहाँ पे स्किन इन द गेम है, वो भी पॉलिटिकल पूरे गेम खेलता है, हम उसको डिनाई नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो भी एग्रेसिव है, लाइक द एग्रेसिवनेस इन पाकिस्तान इन बांग्लादेश. मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी में जो एक जिहाद का इंटरनलाइजेशन है उसके कारण जो सोसाइटी वो एग्रेसिव है, they come on the street much faster. What I'm stating is for writing, instead of fronting themselves, they would also be in that crowd, but for writing they will front these guys.
So Andolanji, आपका point आ गया. I think we should move to Aditya. Aditya, you've heard what Andolanji said. Do you agree with him? So did the Indian Muslims
Can
across
I just say
India?
one thing? I want to ask something. From the Andolanji. Are you saying that all the riotings are done by Muslims in India?
No, they're requesting different
Initiated, yes. Initiated, yes.
No. Indian Muslims.
Shaji, एक second. So you're saying that when that hospital thing happened in India, those riots were initiated by Muslims? That means we're good people.
Which hospital thing? Which one you're talking about?
Calcutta thing, when a girl was raped.
So there was no writing. There was protest.
That's a good point.
No.
That's a good point.
There was rioting.
Just hold on. I'll break it down. I'll break it down for you. So there was a girl who was raped. The administration was not, pursuing the case so vigorously. People protested. Then the ruling government's goons, which happened to be Muslims in majority, attacked the hospital.
So bad.
Hold on.
Just do one thing. Just do one thing. Okay, you don't. Okay, hold on. Okay, just hold on. No, hold on. Why
would Muslim defend a guy who was a Hindu who raped a girl? Why would they care?
No, they were not defending the guy. They were defending the current regime in West Bengal. A
Why?
majority of the voters of TMC are Muslim. 92%. 92% Muslims vote for Mamta Banerjee. Do you know this? 92% Muslims in West Bengal
So,
vote for Mamta Banerjee.
Indian Muslims are peaceful and they request their Muslim brothers who are
I never
illegal
said that. I never said that. I never said that. That they are, what I'm saying
They're
is,
scared.
since there is disposable population available, they prefer to use this. Yes.
Why do you refer to them as disposable?
Yeah, that's very rude
Indian
thing to
Muslims
say.
believe so that when West Bengali or Bangladeshi Muslims are disposable, that is why they front them in everything.
We think the Hindus are disposable too. So what? Like, you shouldn't be rude about it.
No, remain
No, no, no.
emotional. Don't get
Yeah,
emotional.
Andolanji,
No, he's being
Andolanji,
rude. He's
but
being
that's
really
like
racist as well.
Disposable in not the terms of getting killed, disposable in terms of if they get caught, it is very easy for them to run away to Bangladesh. They don't have any skin in the game. That's why they are disposable. I've clarified it multiple times.
Yeah, but I want to make a point. This RGKR hospital where this girl called her name is Momita Devnath, right? And she was basically raped slash raped in her hostel when she was a student, or she was working there on a 36-hour shift. And basically the guy who raped her was an Indian Hindu, firstly. And then what happened was they hid the evidence. The police station hid the evidence, who are Hindu at the same time. And again, the principal of that university, he was sacked, right? And then he was employed in a different university again. What has this, Andolan, what has this got to do with Muslims? Why are you blaming Muslims for something that we've got nothing to do with this?
Muslims for this one.
Sorry?
That you brought it up. I never blamed Muslim for the RGKR incidents. It is
yes, you are though,
it is,
because you keep saying
no, hold on,
Muslims are rioting, Muslims
listen
are
to me.
doing riots.
Listen to me. Listen to me. No, Muslims were not defending the rapists. So what happened? The government was not actively working to catch the suspects or investigating the case properly. All the medical college students were protesting. Then what happened on the third or the fourth night? There were 2,000 TMC goons who came in, who destroyed the hospital first and second floor where the incidents was supposed to take place. And people are saying they destroyed those hospital floors so that all the evidences are destroyed. Out of these 2,000, 3,000 goons of TMC which came in, majority were Muslims.
Man, Muslims
not because they were Muslims. Not because they were Muslims.
Look how
not
easy
because they were Muslims. Hold on. Hear me out. Hear me out. Not this cause was not a Muslim cause. This was a TMC cause. Because majority of the TMC workers and supporters are Muslims. Majority of them. TMC gets 60% of the 60% of TMC vote is Muslim vote. Do you know that?
No, but why are Bangladeshis who are supposedly illegal immigrants supporting a political party in?
They do because TMC provides them with Aadhaar card. TMC provides them with government.
Aadhaar card, then they are not disposable according to you, are they?
They are disposable because they don't have a skin in the game.
No, they become
so
Indian.
Why did they get Aadhaar card? Why is
they
that?
come here. They come here. They make the Aadhaar card to get job, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
now,
so
if you, just hear me out. So TMC guy, right? A TMC guy, a leader who, let's say, a Hindu leader of TMC, right? He has a koti in Kolkata. He has lands in Kolkata, and he has got these 10,000. Just hear me out. And he has got these 10,000 people in his constituency whom he has helped get Aadhaar card, get some jobs, irregular jobs or farm jobs, so on and so forth. They are making their money thanks to this TMC leader. Now the TMC leader says, we have to take out a rally. Where will he draw his resources from? From this base.
Andolanji, when the Gujarat riots happened, did Bangladeshi illegal immigrants help?
No, they were not involved there. No, they were not involved there.
What about the time when that actor Alu was attacked because his movie caused some stampede and a woman was killed in it and his house was attacked by rioters? Was that Bengali?
It wasn't Alu, it was Allu Arjun. But
Allu Arjun. So I'm not aware of that. That wasn't a riot or something. So a couple of things. So
It was
I
a stampede.
specifically,
Yeah.
so okay, so you can joke about it, but once you look at all the charge sheets police have filed, the NIA feedback, the internal surveys, they indicate one very clear function. There is a huge quantum of Bangladeshi immigrants in India. Indian Muslims may politically want to oppose BJP, they would come out on protest. But when it comes to igniting buses, doing writing, they put these guys as forwards
Mm. Just
in quite a
in
lot of those
West
places.
Bengal or everywhere else as well?
In quite a few places nowadays, from the last 2 or 3
You know
decades,
what
this
he's
has become a
essentially
phenomenon.
saying? What Andolan is saying, our life has less value than the Indians.
Yeah.
This is what he's saying, right? That we are so easily disposable and we can fight for another person's fight, whatever. We are doing all the riots, we're doing everything,
Yeah.
right? Indians are doing nothing. They're sitting at home. They're sitting
And
at
So
home
on the
let me
watching
give you an example.
Star
Let me
on
give
the
you an
Plus.
other
example.
They're
side.
eating their
When in
beetroot
France
salad.
rioting takes place, it is the Algerians, right? France
Sorry, what?
writing takes place. It is
No,
the
no,
Algerians who do
no,
it
no.
quite a lot. Yes.
Andolanji, hold on.
I'm blaming all
France
the riots on
situation.
illegal Afghanis from now on.
No. French situation is very different from the other situation which we're discussing. It's ironic that it seems like on one side, India and Indians think that each time something happens in Bangladesh, they're not capable of it, and ISI is doing it. But if something's happening in India, it's the Bangladeshi people who are doing it.
Yeah.
And if it's on the other side of your border, then it's the Pakistanis doing it. I mean, why isn't India doing anything? Why is it so
No,
vulnerable?
the right is happening in India. There's no denying it, right?
Yeah, but
And I'm
why
not
is
saying,
India so vulnerable?
and I'm not saying the Bangladesh is doing this rights in India. It is
Bangladesh.
rights happening in Murshidabad, right?
Mm,
And it is being done for political reasons. These political parties, so TMC, Mamata Banerjee is a Hindu leader, right? Technically speaking,
mm.
TMC, the top leadership of TMC is Hindu leadership.
Okay, I get your point.
I'm going to marry.
We'll have Aditya's opinion
But
on that,
I
and
want to
then
make another point. I want to make one point. And Dolanji, why can it be because BJP is maybe causing the riots to undermine Mamata Banerjee? I mean, who's going to gain out of it?
Quite
BJP, no?
possible. I mean,
They're already
BJP might have recruited all
they're
the
already talking about
Muslims in
it.
Nagpur
They're
and
already
Muslims
talking
in
about
up here.
it. They're already talking about it. All the BJP leaders are putting blame on Mamata Banerjee. So maybe, possibly, all these rioting in Bengal happens to undermine Mamata Banerjee government. ये भी तो
ओके,
हो सकता है.
फेयर पॉइंट बिल्कुल हो सकता है, लेकिन जैसे कि नागपुर में हुआ, अभी आप लोगों ने 2 हफ्ते पहले नागपुर राइट्स की बात करी थी, राइट? नागपुर में एक दिन राइट हुआ, अगले दिन पुलिस ने सिचुएशन कंट्रोल में ले ली, राइट? Right in front of you, because there was a BJP government, police forces with the state government. Mamata Banerjee also has the same powers. She has the police force under him. She can call for, other additional police forces if she thinks that's not good enough. But if the writing continues and it happens every 3 months, then the state government is not able to control a law and order situation. It is quite evident, right?
I want to make a very, very important point. If it's the illegal immigrants who are doing this, they've obviously caught many people. I think they've caught
So
people.
I think you still didn't got the point, Shaji.
No,
It is
hold on. Let me
not the
make my point.
illegal immigrants who are doing it. It is the illegal immigrants who are being used as a tool for the
Yeah.
final writing. Right?
Yeah.
The right is not
That's
planned
what-
by Bangladeshis and they are sitting in some Bengali sabha and planning the rights. Since they are disposable, they are front-ended. They are under an obligation to a lot of these leaders, so they have to mitigate those obligations.
I want to request you. Can I make my point now? So the point is, I understand whatever you said, but now they've arrested people. So in the coming days, I think it's on the behest of the federal as well as the regional government to basically suggest and show that these are people we've arrested. We've basically discovered this Muhammad Abdul Akram, whatever Ali his name is actually not an Indian citizen, but a Bangladeshi citizen, right? that is there's no one stopping that. And if that was not to happen, then I think this is just a conspiracy theory, because I think it's India's nothing stopping India. That would be so easy for the provincial government, the state government, as well as the federal government, to basically
Two things.
show illegal immigration, wipe their hands off, and say
No,
this
no,
was.
nobody's wiping their hands off. So I don't think you still get the point.
Mm. No, but don't you
Illegal
think they should
immigrants
be
are available. Just hear me out, Sajid. I think you're diverting the issue from rights to illegal immigrants. What I'm saying, rights is happening. Quite a lot of these people who are used in riots are the ones who have come from Bangladesh. One of the primary reasons of these guys being front-ended is that after the experience of Gujarat and other regions in Muzaffarnagar, etc., where Indian Muslims participated directly in the rioting and Indian Hindus participated indirectly in writing, both were caught on camera.
So,
Just hear me
Andolan,
out.
and
Hear
when
me
this
out.
happens in other countries, right? For example, there have been
I'm
a
not
few.
talking another countries. I'm talking
Hold on,
about
I'm giving you an
what's
example.
happening in India, right?
Hear me out, Andolanji. Andolanji, please hear me out. Let me speak, please. I request you, let me speak. So, Andolanji, the thing is, when it happens in other countries, even like countries like Pakistan or Bangladesh, Rohingya or Afghans, when they commit something or they are found, or even Iranians when they're found, uh, the government shows the person on screen and says this was an Afghan citizen, an Iranian citizen, or this was a Rohingya citizen in case of Bangladesh. Even in the UK, if an illegal immigrants are committing any crimes, they show the person and they say this person was an illegal immigrant from this country. So I'm expecting, if what you're saying is correct, in the coming days, we're going to see at least 8 or 9, 10, 15, 30
Yes, of
cases.
course. What you can do is, rather than waiting, you can pull up the Delhi riot cases. There are a list of 300 people. Hold on. Listen to me. Listen to me. There's already precedence, right?
No, I'm talking about the incident yesterday.
I know. You would wait. Why wait for 20 days? If you have to establish the point, just pick up the Delhi riots, which happened 3 years back.
Incident.
Just hear me out, my friend. You're seeking a precedence, right? You are asking whether or not Bangladeshis were involved. Pick up the 300 people who were apprehended in Delhi riots. Just go through those names. Just go through court records.
Speaking or conversing about Delhi riots, we're talking about West Bengal riots.
So if West Bengal riots, I'm telling it is a bordering area of Bangladesh. There is a huge demographic shift in the last 60 years.
What the government
Just
says.
hear me out. Just hear me out. You are questioning
Sorry,
me that
what
no,
do
the
you mean
Bangladeshi.
demographic shift?
Hold on. Let me complete my point. Can I complete my point? I'm making a simple. I made us argument. I have data backing from the Delhi rights. I have data, a lot of data backing from Sambal rights a year back, right? No area rights. Quite a lot of people who were apprehended were from Bangladeshi origin. So there is a set precedence, specifically in the last one and a half decades.
That's like saying there was a mass shooting by a black man in the US, and today another school shooting occurred, and it must be done by a black man. We don't know. We have to judge incident by incident.
I am not saying it is. So I don't know where you are getting confused. I'm simply stating.
You're asking me to.
I'm simply stating a point. I'm simply stating a point that of late, in the last decade or two, most of the writing, the Bangladeshi immigrants have been used as tools, as a front end for writing. That's the point I'm making, based on what I have seen in Delhi riots, in Nuh riots, in Sambal riots.
Can I, Andolanji, can I make a point and we can also, move forward? Maham wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just saying, let's agree to disagree and move on from this point. We'll find out in a few days anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So one point I wanted to make, which everyone can agree to, and I believe even Noor would agree to that, there is no denying that a lot of illegal Bangladeshis were given, these Indian identity cards, these cards like voter cards, and like Aadhaar card is our like social security card kind of a thing. These are the like identity cards you use if you want to get a connection, like connection for water, or if you want to rent a house, or all these things, like these are not considered the best papers when you have to prove your nationality, but these can be used if you want to like get a job, or want to apply for these things. So these are very useful papers. So there's no denying that another thing that you can't deny, that now that we have two major like political parties in West Bengal, which
Yeah.
is
I'm not able
BJP
to hear
and
Aditya.
huh
Uh, did I go blank or Aditya went blank for a minute or so?
probably it's you.
We can hear Aditya, carry on.
So the second point is, we can't deny that so Mamta Banerjee's party has used this loophole to provide, like maybe not directly, but it's not very let's say it's not very difficult in West Bengal to acquire a Aadhaar card, which is our social security card, or a voter ID card. If you have decent enough connection, you don't even have to be very connected. If you can like pay like probably 50 to 100 US dollar equivalent in Indian currency, you can acquire these identity cards. It's that cheap.
Mm.
Like every fourth or fifth street you can find these
So
people.
I'm sure nobody is going to say that there might not be infiltration
And
there or
so
what.
just imagine, given a scenario where you have
But
to
but
choose
but
between
I
either
think it's
TMC,
Aditya,
which is
but do
Mamata
you
Banerjee's
think
party, or BJP. Of course,
but
like
Aditya, do you think that Muslims of India, basically, like Andolanji said, used Bangladeshi Muslims or requested them to do riots on their behest for Waqf board?
not like Indian Muslims, but I wouldn't discount the West Bengal government of these actions, using these goons
This is a
specifically. Yeah.
conspiracy in your own country. This is a thought process in your own nation. If your country is very backward minded, and if you don't trust your I don't know what is she, central government, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, or
Yeah, yeah.
if you can get Aadhaar cards for £100, for example, this is a weakness in your own nation which you should really
And I
fix.
agree, Noor. That it's a fact. Like I
I
know
have a
people.
point here, Aditya. Aditya, I there were 2 points made, right? One is that the Bengalis of Bangladesh are helping them riot. Okay. The other point is that the Bengalis from Bangladesh are also used by Mamta Banerjee government to contain other stuff and everything. How come? So, are you saying that the Mamta Banerjee party is doing the rioting? Because if they control them, why are they rioting?
Because in a state like West Bengal, which I like like in the beginning I described, it was never a normal state since the like the powers when
Portrait
it was
state.
held by the left, or the communist. There
Mm.
has always been this like ground force kind of people who indirectly worked for the like state government, where they were like these people were given guns or like ammunitions and like street power to manage that specific area, to like manage all these goons, and all these people were
It's
managed by the left, which were eventually
But doesn't
transferred
that happen all over
to
India?
Mamta Banerjee. Yeah.
No, but doesn't that happen all over India? Everybody
Not
has
in the
goons.
way that happens,
The
not in the
underworld, is,
way.
the
Every
underworld
part of
is really
India,
strong in
other than
India,
West,
not just West
Not
Bengal.
really.
every part
Not
of India
really.
except for West Bengal is like living in America. Actually, that's what I heard.
No, what I'm saying
West
is,
Bengal is
Aditya,
pretty
wasn't
bad.
wasn't the underworld really strong all over India, not just Bengal?
Not really. Never in North India. Never
All
ever.
those goons were used
Like
by
Uttar
these
Pradesh had these issues and still
politicians.
has these issues.
Okay. So we're now going to move to the final comments, and Andolanji, you forgot to explain your display picture. Please also explain your display picture, and how do you see this progressing, and where do you see the Waqf board going, and do you think the unrest is going to finish anytime soon, or is this going to spread all over India? Go ahead, Andolanji.
so there
And
would
we'll
be
be
legal.
more on.
There would be legal. there would be legal fights and demonstration, which would continue to happen till the time it is finally settled through all legal channels. Politically, the issue is settled. The bill is passed, and there were some draconian powers with Waqf Board, which was granted to them in 1996 and 2013. The only reversal is of those draconian powers. There is no Waqf Board. Waqf can still be created. Any Muslim who wants to land or create a trust under Waqf is still free to do so, provided it is his own land, not somebody else's. Right? He can still create a trust. All the legal, properties of Waqf will remain with Waqf. All the disputed properties now would be settled through legal channels. Earlier, it was getting settled through Waqf tribunal, and there was a clear bias, and people were not allowed to, appeal post Waqf tribunal in the normal course. So those draconian powers have been taken back. Other than that, any Muslim in India or any Hindu in India can donate his property to Waqf or to a temple trust or to a mosque or wherever, right? There's no issues with that. So that's point number one. People also realize that most of the Waqf was held by the Ashraf community in India. So All India Muslim Personal Law Board has, since independence, 97% representation in All India Muslim Personal Law Board, with only 15% of the population. In the so let's give you an example in madarsas and in premier colleges even. So let's say premier college like the Aligarh Muslim University, 89% of all the staff there is Ashraf, right? So the 70% of the Pasmanda community in India has been the victim of the Ashraf ecosystem in India, which controls most of the properties, which controls most of the Waqf, which takes the benefit out of the Waqf. So there are Waqf properties where malls are made. And let's say the market rent is 5 lakh rupees per month, but Waqf will only get rent of 1,000 rupees per month. Rest is taken by, the Mutallavi or whatever it is called on as a backhand deal. So these were consistent problem, and the Pasmanda community is standing for these Waqf reforms. They see there would be a greater transparency. The entire process is supposed to be automated. The entire properties are supposed to be digitalized and kept for public consumption. The incomes from these properties and how they would be utilized, those all will be transparent, so on and so forth. So there is a clear divide. The Ashraf community, who had been controlling, does not want these amendments, but all other members of the Pasmanda community, as well as other people who got affected by these Waqf, because a lot of this land grabbing happened of Hindu properties, Sikh properties, so on and so forth. So they are in opposition of the draconian powers, and hence they are supporting it. Yeah.
Andolanji, everything else is fine, but why do they need 2 non-Muslim member representation in Waqf board? That's like asking.
So there are specific reasons for that, because quite a lot of properties currently with the Waqf board. In UP, a recent survey was done. 95% of the properties with the Waqf board is not a genuine property registered in Waqf board. So a lot of these property belongs to Hindus, Sikhs, government, other societies, which has been taken over. So a fair representation, now the board would consist of 2 Muslim female members. Muslim female members were nowhere in the picture in the Waqf board earlier, right? 2 would necessarily be deployed from the Pasmanda community, and then 2 other people, so that the board becomes more representative.
That's fine. I think we'll do a show on.
But I don't think.
We're going to do a stream on Waqf.
एक छोटा सा पॉइंट मैं बोल दूं, आपने एक पूरी कंट्री बना ली जिसमें मतलब किसी भी हिंदू को प्राइम मिनिस्टर नहीं बना सकते हो, और हिंदुस्तान के अंदर आपको ऑब्जेक्शन है कि वक्फ बोर्ड में 2 नॉन मुस्लिम कैसे बैठ रहे हैं? Isn't that hypocrisy?
No, that's not hypocrisy, right? Because this is people's individual land which they're donating.
No, we're going to do a stream on that, and we'll discuss that.
Yeah, but he's saying something wrong about. Oh, there's no Hindu.
I know, I understand that. We're going to.
Also, in India, you never had a Muslim prime minister. So what?
Like, every other Pakistani wants secularism only for India, not for Pakistan.
No, because
Okay.
Pakistan is secular. What
That's
do
a
you
big
mean?
problem. The Waqf board in India should only have Muslims, but the in Pakistan, prime minister should only be Muslim.
Absolutely incorrect.
No, but even in India, they never had a Muslim prime minister. So what's the point
So
here?
what should we do a reservation for a Muslim prime minister?
Yes,
The
actually,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should.
president has been Muslim.
That will.
Do a reservation
President
for
being
Yeah.
Muslim
So
has no
as
value.
you know,
Andolanji,
There's
this
no
we
is
should
president value in
we
India,
should
right?
have
The
a
president is like the
reservation.
first state member
Andolanji,
of Indian
so.
India,
Andolanji,
but
we
they
should
don't
have.
So
have any
ideally,
value.
ideally, my viewpoint is quite clear, Noor. Indian Muslims should also not have voting rights in India.
Yeah, I agree. The
They
Hindus
That's
can.
in Bangladesh
Yeah.
that's
shouldn't
far
either. What's wrong?
that's
No,
far
no,
fetched, but
that's my opinion. If you have an opinion that Waqf board in India should necessarily consist
Yeah,
of
but
only
why?
Muslims,
Listen, I want to
whereas
ask
in
you, right?
Pakistan
Is any
there is no
Muslims
space
in
for
any
chief
Hindu?
minister or prime
I
ministers to
never
be a
seen any
Hindu or a
Muslims in
Christian or a Sikh,
Ram Temple
right?
constituencies
But
or the
on this,
trustees in
just
the
hold on,
Ram Temple.
Noor. You can talk over me, or once I finish, you can talk. This is my viewpoint. My rationale is pretty simple. If a land has been given to proportion of your population, only voting right should be given the way Ahmadiyas are taken into Pakistan job, that you sign that this thing, that I would never support an Islamic regime in India or anything which relates to Sharia, then you are allowed to vote, otherwise not.
Mm, mm. Okay,
Okay, but
I think this is a very good topic, and we should save this to go into detail. And I think there are
can I
many
have my
less.
two closing statements before
Yeah,
ending?
go ahead,
Like, since we're
Aditya, your
doing,
closing statement.
like, uh, for first is a, a quick joke I wanted to make about, we should also have, like, not just we should have reservation as for prime minister for just Muslims, but we should also have, some reservation for prime minister of the Bangladeshi illegal immigrant community as our prime ministers too. So
Might as
because
well
Yeah,
since
I
have
they
one.
are
support
also
don't
that.
in
worry, West
millions of
Bengal will
numbers.
soon be Bangladeshi soon. That's
No,
very
Oh,
soon.
since we have millions of illegal Bangladeshis living in India already.
That's the plan,
Andolanji, shouldn't we have,
mastermind plan.
reservation
That
for prime
I
minister?
support this. I support it. As long as no Muslim is voting, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
So,
okay. It's Aditya's final comments
and
at
the
stake.
closing, yeah, the final closing comment I would make about this Waqf board issue is that, there's no denying that, there were, reforms were needed for the Waqf board. Waqf board is the second or the third largest property holder in India, if I'm not mistaken. After the Indian Railways, it's the second largest property holder after the Indian Railways, which is fine with me. It's not a problem, but they have all these lands, and which is also controlled by the so-called upper caste Muslim people. It's strange when we don't talk about, how much land is owned by Indian Hindus when it with in for the temples, and in the temples also, I'm pretty sure like 90% of the lands or these temples are controlled by the Indian Brahmins, which we don't talk about. Again, they're also the most upper caste people. They hold 90%
So,
of the Indian temples.
which is not the case, Aditya.
It's final
Which is
comments.
Yeah,
actually a
should
lie.
we should have a survey,
Which is
but yeah,
actually a
that's a
lie.
separate
I'll
topic.
tell
Yeah.
you, because no, it's not a separate topic. But let me, this is
No,
a
it's
straightforward
final
lie.
comments. We'll
All,
talk about
all,
that
all
in the
temples, all temples with substantial land and substantial donorship is controlled by the state governments
That's
in India.
actually that
By
is
the
actually true
Brahmins,
with
but
it.
that's a
So
separate
guys,
topic.
these
Yeah,
are
we should
last
have a discussion.
comments. Can you please not
State
comment
governments
on
are
each
Brahmins.
other? Dolanji, these are last comments, please. Go on,
So
Aditya,
just one
finish.
last line. Yeah, one last line. So yeah, reforms were needed, but the way these reforms are done, I disagree with these reforms. There could have been a better way, and these lands, even by the Muslims, could be better used to empower their own people or to generate more revenue for their own community. But this is not done right in the right way. That's my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Noor, final comments.
No, I have nothing more to say. But if you do another one, then do let me know.
Okay. So I just think it's something which is unfolding. I don't agree Bangladeshi Muslims were requested, but let's see what happens. It's an interesting one, and I think sometime later in the week we're going to do another show on Waqf, and Waqf with the same name, and Oqaf exists in Bangladesh and Pakistan as well. It exists in the UK as well now. It exists in the US. It exists all over the Muslim world. So we're going to have a look in detail, specifically in terms of South Asia, what Waqf is, how Muslims view it in Muslim dominating countries in terms of population, and how, or is it different in India or not? Go ahead, Mohammed.
How much they don't need to own any land. They're already claiming all the masjids as their mandirs. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for listening in. Subscribe to our channel Gravy N or Gravy on Narratives on YouTube. My internet is really bad, so bear with me. Till then, have a good day, good evening, and good night.